Hey guys, and welcome to this vlog on diversity and allyship. Today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how diversity works as a lived experience. So, in the first vlog that I made, I talked a little bit about how a lot of people are really interested in diversity and inclusion as a philosophy, but are not necessarily living the experience of it. And I just wanted to address some of the thoughts and reflections that I've had along the way, which may be useful. So the biggest thing that I think I wanted to put out there that a lot of people don't want to say is that diversity is hard, and I mean it in the sense that being around diverse people and having conversations with lots of different people from different backgrounds and in perspectives than you, it does take you out of your comfort zone. And we are hardwired to be in our comfort zones, right? That is part of our evolution. And so when you have these conversations, it forces you to move out of that comfort zone and see life from a different angle, because especially it shows you for us, especially as a white person, it shows you what your privilege is and what it has done. And I think a lot of sometimes problematic responses come when people are like, well, I feel really guilty about this, and so I'm going to try and fix it so I don't have to feel guilty about it anymore, which is still fundamentally a self-centered approach. And I think that oftentimes when you engage in discussions with people who are underprivileged or who have suffered because of who they are and where they come from and what they look like, especially if you've never had that experience, it's really difficult. And it's you don't want to think that anything that you've done has contributed. I don't think that anybody wants to be a racist. And in fact, they will do anything to prove that they're not a racist, as going even so far as to say that racism doesn't even exist, or that it's a post-racism world, or that, something didn't happen, that this is not a good comparison because, this didn't even happen. There are people who deny certain things. I'm not going to name it, but you know what it is. So, it's like, people are so they know that racism is bad, and they don't want, they can't bear to think that they could possibly have contributed with it, because it's an uncomfortable discussion to have with yourself. So that they'd rather say that there is no racism than that they might have done something or said something which is racist, whether it be a microaggression or something ignorant, or done something that hurt somebody else, or said something, whatever. What I'm getting at is that when you are going into these conversations, you have to be willing to be out of your comfort zone. And again, not a lot of people are willing to do that. So you have to be willing to be out of the comfort zone, and you have to be willing to be in a position where you can listen and empathize with what you're hearing, without making it about your pain and your guilt and I'm so sorry and blah blah blah. You have to be able to hold this space of compassion and empathy without putting yourself in there and say, I have to fix this because I don't feel good and I don't like that and I have to fix it. It's a skill you learn, I look back and I think of a lot of times, where I did have these conversations, and it was all about me being upset and guilty about it, and that was not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation was to understand what this other person had gone through and what their experiences were. I think that I found sometimes having these discussions in the context of artistic projects is one of the best ways that I have found to really be in a space of compassion and creation. That it's a wonderful way of saying, no, let's take these backgrounds and these experiences and this reality and build it into something, and that collaboration allows us to find the middle grounds, to make peace with each other, and to move into a new place. Again, maybe not everybody has the opportunity to do artistic collaborations, but if you do, it's a wonderful way of bridging, of building bridges. So going back to the start, diversity is hard, and we have to accept that, because I think it's based on the natural assumption, and this is another like evolutionary thing that we got passed down: there is not enough. Okay. Our entire, like the entire capitalist economy is based on this idea: there is not enough, right? And the scarcity is what gives something value. And in order to continually increase values, they have to be continually scarce. There is not enough. There is not enough jobs for everyone. There is not money enough for everyone. And so when you think about diversity on an actual, on the ground, lived experience level, the monkey brain or the reptile brain, whichever one it is, will say, but if there's more for them, then there's less for me. Like, for example, if I was going to say, like in the dance world, if there's going to be more openness and inclusion for, companies of differently abled dancers, or, more spots in a company that are given to dancers of, different ethnic backgrounds or different nationalities. And that means that I have less of a chance of getting picked, right? Because if it's me versus, a bunch of other white people, then somehow I have a better chance than if it's me versus, it's like the pool is separated, and then there's fewer chances. And so it's based on this mindset that, like, hang on a minute, but then I might not have enough for me. When you are able to switch from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, where you say that actually I have the same chances as I would before. We're all dancers, we're all trying. I have the same chances, or maybe I have less chances, but there's another company that I could try for. And then understanding that besides my own personal opportunities, the quality, the interest, the artistic value, for example, of this dance company, by having a more diverse, company, is going to skyrocket. And actually the quality of the work is going to drastically change. The artistic opportunities are going to drastically change. And so instead of thinking of this like, what am I losing through greater diversity and greater inclusion, it's to start thinking about, well, actually, what am I gaining? And what are the I know that people are going to have a problem with that statement, because it's like, as you're already privileged, already powerful, so why, it's not about gaining. And I get that it's not. But what I'm saying is that what I have learned along the way is that diversity and more diversity always enriches the space. Whatever the space is, it is always enriched by more diversity. I have never experienced a moment where having more diversity or more inclusion has actually diminished a space in any way. I always find that it adds greater value. Any discussion about diversity or inclusion in any space needs to be more focused on, less on this. What are we losing? What part of my personal privilege and power do I have to give up? And therefore, maybe I will have less, and maybe I won't, be listened to as much, and maybe I won't have as much money, and then the world is going to end, and like it just spirals, as anxiety tends to do. So instead of bringing that attitude, to bring the attitude of, what am I gaining? What is enriched? How is the space growing? How is the world growing? How is this space getting richer and stronger and more colorful and beautiful, based on the different characters that are part of it. And just as to end on this note, I will just say again that yes, diversity is hard and it can be uncomfortable, and it is important to acknowledge that. However, in my experience, diversity always enriches the space and never diminishes it. That's what I have to say for today. Maybe I will see you next time. Bye-bye.